Okay guys, so I'm going to show you how to make a Tints and Hage Mandala. So this is of course unfinished. I'm going to be creating one with you. So you guys are starting out with something that looks like this. I cut the paper and drew the circles for you, just so they are centered in this paper. You're also going to need a ruler. Let me get that real quick, actually. Okay, so with the pencil, you're going to line your ruler up so that it's in each corner, and then you're going to draw a line down, and you're going to do the same thing in the other corner. So again, my ruler's lined up in the corner here, and it's also lined up along this corner over here, and then you're going to draw a line down so that you end up with something like this. Okay. Next, what you're going to do is you need to line up your ruler flush so that there's no diagonals along this edge, and you are going to draw a line that goes through this X through the center like that, and then you're going to do the same thing over here on this side. So I want to make sure this is lined up flush at the top. That's a carpenter's term. And then this goes down the center. Okay? So now I've got something like this. So these pieces should be equal, or at least about equal. Go ahead and get 2 little pieces of tape, and you can just put them on the side of your desk because you'll need them in a second. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this tracing paper, and you can, what's smart is if you line it up so that one edge is along the edge here, and then you won't need to worry about lining it up. And then the best you can, nice and slowly, you're going to draw a line over, and then you're going to draw a line on this side so that we have one pie piece. So if you need to do this with your ruler, you can, or just go nice and slowly. So now, this should be about equal wherever I bring it. So if it's off a little bit, that's okay. All right, so now we need to worry about designing our pieces. So you want to think about something that will end up being symmetrical but also asymmetrical. So if you did the Noton project, we thought about making something interesting so that it would be symmetrical on one side, but then it wouldn't be the same design on the other side. So you can design it however you want. Basically what is going to end up happening is there's going to be some symmetry, and then each pie piece is going to be different, but then the symmetry folds over onto the next side like this. And then whatever you do on the bottom is going to end up becoming like this radial design, and then of course the whole thing is sort of a radial design going outwards. So I did a design that's like mostly organic shapes, so nice and rounded, sort of loose shapes, and then some little geometric circles. Knowing that it kind of flowers in the middle, I did like a petal. And I played around with a couple different designs before I settled. So don't just like be satisfied with your first design. You can do a few different like test pieces. This is just like sketching it out what you want. You can also do something above this piece. Just make sure that when you trace it, you have the room above here and you're not going all the way up there. And then it should be something, you know, very simple. You don't want to do anything that's too intricate because we're going to end up painting this. So You don't want to do all these little tiny details and all these little tiny things. That's just going to end up taking you forever. Try to make the things end on an edge. So once you have the design that you want, you're going to start to sketch it out on here. You can see that I already did that. And then once you've sketched it out, you're going to line it up onto your puzzle, so one of your pie pieces. And then you can, once you have it lined up, you can tape it down. So where I've taped this down first is the pencil that I drew it on is underneath. Okay, so basically you're gonna be flip-flopping this piece. So the pencil's underneath, and now I'm gonna be tracing over that pencil, and because the pencil is underneath, you can see the design, because there's pencil on this side, is showing up on the paper here. Okay, so I don't know if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, you can ask me during class and I'll explain it to you. Again, like, it might not be perfect every time when we line it up. Just, you know, you're gonna have to let that go, because it's not gonna be perfectly mathematical because we took some shortcuts. Okay, so as I trace this around, you'll see it's starting to show up more and more underneath here, and I can always reinforce this later with pencil. And I have this top design, so I'm gonna go right over the tape, and then boom. So I need to, before I pull it back all the way, I just check to make sure I traced everything, and if I didn't, I can always retape it and keep tracing. Okay, so now instead of just moving this over, that's not going to be symmetrical. So now we have pencil on this side. So what we can do now is we can flip this over like that. And then I want to move my tape. So this tape should come up pretty easily. Make sure you have some pencil underneath that now. So that when you go to line this up now, do you see how that's symmetrical now? This is symmetrical, that's symmetrical. Okay, or I could start over on this side. Now that's gonna be symmetrical. Okay, and I already have pencil underneath because I traced this design. So when I go to trace this and I tape it down, okay, it might not line up perfectly every time, but that's okay. Just line it up enough that it works. So you can see, as I bring it up, it's transferring over. Okay? So you'll do that, and you'll just keep flipping it every time, and it should end up perfectly so that you end up with every pie piece having a design that sort of radiates out. Okay, radiates out from the center, and then you have symmetry, but you also have asymmetry, so there's enough interest going on. Okay, and then go on to the next video for how we are supposed to paint this.